Computer running slow? Has your machine somehow acquired a life of its own? Or do you simply desire a deeper and more meaningful connection? Be one with your operating system. It's Arizona's computer guru, Mike Swanson, and his show starts now. Listen in, chat in, and watch live streaming at gurushow.com. Want your voice to be heard? Call in with your questions and riddles. The number is 520-790-2040. This is the Computer Guru Show on AM 1030, KVOI, The Voice.
Hello and welcome to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040. That's 520-790-2040. If you want to be a part of the show, Tara is not here today, but we got Rob.
But I'm here to save the day again.
Rob is here saving the day.
Well, you didn't tell me you're going to be all energetic and standing up, man.
Oh,
Get on my level.
Okay, how's that? Yeah, if you want to be part of the show, this is your free hour of tech support for the week. 790-2040. We can help you out with whatever technology issues you may be having and, treat you like a person in the process, because that's what we do over here at the Computer Guru Show. Now, we've been struggling trying to figure out where we're going to start the show today.
Yeah, there's a couple different directions we could go.
I think the Flyboard. We'll start with that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, have you seen the... Kent, I'm sure you watch the YouTube, don't you, on occasion?
The YouTubes?
On occasion.
On occasion. Have you seen there's these flyboards that are water powered, right? It's like it's dragging around a jet ski, and you can kind of just stand on it, and it takes you up like 20 feet in the air. And
pretty cool. I haven't seen it, though.
It's very cool. And those have been around for a while. Well, the guy that invented that decided, well, let's stop dealing with this water stuff, and built one that is untethered and lets you fly around in the air. And it looks remarkably dangerous.
If you've seen the first Spider-Man movie, the terrible one with Tobey Maguire, it's a lot like the Green Goblin's little hoverboard thing that he had, which is cool.
It's very similar to the Green Goblin board. But according to them, it does 93 miles an hour, can fly up to 10,000 feet.
Seems safe.
Lots of disclosures.
I don't, if I remember correctly, though, it only had like a running time of like 50 seconds or something.
No. Well, that was like the old jetpack ones.
Oh, okay.
They only had, like less than a minute.
So this one actually has some real time that you can use it?
On their first beta test, they flew around for 5 minutes.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
And
still don't think you're getting up to 10,000 feet that way, but I can't see why you'd want to, honestly.
You're wearing a backpack full of fuel for the board that you're standing on, so you might want to be a little careful.
That's commitment. No parachute, just more fuel.
I imagine he's probably got a parachute too.
It's like a flying bomb.
It looks dangerous. It looks but on that note, it looks really fun. I'd do it.
I would watch from the sidelines. I think that's about as close as I'd get.
Yeah. Well, during the break, we'll have to look at...
You never buy the alpha, man. You always have to wait until, a few iterations out.
Right. We have to wait until there's at least one or two major catastrophes that that change the design in some way. And then it's okay to use.
I, for one, welcome the inevitable YouTube fail videos that will come as a result, though.
Oh, okay. It'll be interesting. Yeah, it looks so much fun.
It's just like the hoverboard, the wheeled thing that everybody's using. My favorite part of all of that is just watching people fall off of it.
Or them burst into flames.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's why they stopped selling them everywhere.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because it turns out that a large percentage of those things just decide to catch on fire.
Which would be really bad for the Flyboard.
Yeah, they kind of explode.
Yeah, it turns out that's a bigger problem when you're 10,000 feet in the air.
Well, not really.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
just kick it off.
Look, a meteor.
Let it fly down, pull the chute, you're good.
If you have a parachute. If not, then the problem really is solved.
Yeah, problem solved. It's like, I don't know, the whole parachuting thing is, we see all these conflicting stories. I was watching Vice a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about assisted suicide. And
through skydiving?
And I'm thinking that's the way you do it, is you just give everybody, skydiving. And then they get a choice. They get to change their mind. Jump out of the plane if you're...
Oh, you mean with a parachute?
Yeah. Just kick them out the plane, and if they decide that they want to change their mind, it could be an eye-opening experience. As a person who has done skydiving, I would say that you're very, very happy when you pull the handle and the chute opens.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so,
But if it doesn't?
well, if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well,
It's
you got
just-
a long time to think
And you
about
changed
it
your mind?
on the way down.
Well, we'll never know. But it's just like the last 5 weeks out at the skydiving places here in Arizona, because they've had 4 people die in the last month and a half or something out at the skydiving ranges. So
That seems like a high amount.
it's a really high number. So I imagine that it might be a hurting business out there
That's a cluster,
in
right?
Casa Grande. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just up in the odds. The real extreme people who want the daredevil experience. There you go.
Well, that's why they do it in the first place, right?
I guess.
Yeah. You want to feel like you've jumped out of a plane. Well, you did. So no matter what happens, you jumped out of a plane.
I'll just wait for better VR where I can simulate that experience and not die.
Yeah, I think the ones I like more are the indoor ones now, where you get the big
The
fan.
big fan on the bottom.
Yeah.
Except for when you fall into the fan for some
You're
reason.
not falling through the...
That happens in video games, so I'm pretty sure that happens in real life too.
No, not unless they invent a clipping chip for, humans.
That would
to
be pretty cool.
Just fly through solid objects. No. But those seem like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I could do that. I'd probably do the real skydiving thing too, but maybe not in light of that new statistic you just laid on me.
Yeah, not in Casa Grande,
Yeah, no.
because apparently it's dangerous out there. Sorry, kids.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know. It's like everything else. There's an inherent risk. I think that if you're doing something that's, much more likely to kill you, then, you kind of have to be prepared for those types of odds. Even though the odds do seem a little bit higher than they have been recently.
Yeah.
Or we can blame it on everything else. It's just more media coverage.
I hope that's not the case, because that's even worse.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Okay. So we covered the dangerous, fun-looking thing. I really want to try that. It's one of those things that I won't be able to ever try.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't go up 10,000 feet and you stay maybe 20 or 30 feet up, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, in the demo flight, they were just flying
Because they're doing it above water, right?
They did it over some land and some water.
I could do it over a lake or something where falling you conceivably can survive that.
Right.
But yeah, not over the land yet. I'll wait a little bit.
It'll look like a lot of fun. We'll have to put the link in. I'll show you the video during the break, and it'll be fun. And it's another one of those vehicles that our sponsor might eventually work on. So,
do you know how he probably is getting so many calls? Do you work on Segways? Do you work on jetpacks?
have you worked on any spacecraft lately? Because Guru says that you guys probably fix it over there at Perfection Auto Works.
Just any mode of transportation.
Any mode of transportation. I don't know. I'm curious how. I'm curious how many things he has to turn away.
People are walking in with jetpacks and hoverboards.
I've got this skateboard, Mike. Do you think that you could work on the skateboard for me?
Computer Guru said if it has wheels, take it in.
Yeah.
So
Put a Ritter rat on the skateboard just to keep the pack rats from getting to it.
anyway, we're of course talking about our sponsor.
Perfection Auto Works. Get your 26-point inspection for free. Summer's coming up, and you might want to make sure that you get all your belts checked out, fluids, all that. They do that inspection for nothing over at Perfection Auto Works. Give them a shot. I'm sure you'll love them. And it's your way of saying thank you for them supporting the Computer Guru Show. We'll be right back.
Whether you're dealing with hardware installation or, heaven forbid, a virus,
No!
Mike Swanson is answering all your questions one by one. So call in or chat in with yours. The website, gurushow.com. Tune in, click in, and kick back. This is the Computer Guru Show on AM 1030 KVOY The Voice. Mike Swanson, your computer guru, is just a click away. Listen and watch at gurushow.com. This is the Computer Guru Show.
Welcome back to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show. We're going to talk about the Brave browser.
I didn't know too much about this before I read up on this story, and I'm kind of still in the gray area over how I feel about it.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the Brave browser in many instances will basically replace the advertisement you see on websites with a different form of advertisement. And then you get a choice. You can either choose, and you also get a little bit of Bitcoin payment for viewing the ads.
Yeah, essentially it turns viewing ads into like a P2P kind of way to generate some money.
Right, so you can make a little bit of money off of it, and the company can make a little bit of money off of it. And the way that they describe, the CEO of Brave describes it, is that the original ad people also get money out of it. And then you get an option. You can say, well, I don't want any of that Bitcoin. I don't want to see any advertisements. And then you see none. 0 ads.
So it's an ad blocker built into the browser.
Right. Ad blocker itself or ad replacement otherwise, of which you can make a little bit of money, and everybody else is supposed to make some money off of it also.
Now, it sounds cool, but companies are not happy about it.
Specifically, newspapers are really, really unhappy about it.
Yeah, I mean, as it turns out, newspapers kind of exist in this weird area where they can only be online if they have advertisements nowadays. There's no way for them to really generate revenue other than subscriptions and advertisements.
Right. Nobody wants to subscribe to that anymore.
Yeah, nobody's subscribing to like 10 different newspapers.
Some people are, I'm sure.
Yeah, but apparently not enough to offset the advertisements because they still try to push those.
Yeah, and the truth is, well, who knows how much they're either making or not making off of that type of stuff. I'm sure that their costs are being covered because, well, they still exist. But they're gonna take this to court.
Yeah, they are trying to say that what Brave is doing is illegal because they're manipulating the content on their website to generate revenue from it.
Sort of.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but they're not manipulating the content on the site. They're manipulating it prior to it getting to the user.
Right.
And so this is where this weirdness comes into play here. Is it okay for them to change those ads out?
Well, we were talking about this before, and I think that the issue is kind of deeper than just, like most precedent-setting court cases. It's not about the specific issue that's being named in the case as what it implies.
Okay.
If this type of thing is made illegal, if modifying content to the end user is made illegal, that effectively eliminates ad blocking in general because that's what they're doing.
Right. And I guess my question is it not the responsibility of the person serving the ads? Is it not their responsibility to make sure that it gets to the end user?
Right.
And so they should be figuring out how to either make a deal with the Brave browser or come up with some technology that circumvents the Brave browser. It's an arms race. So who is going to win the advertising arms race? And ultimately, we all know it's not going to be us, right? They're going to find a way around it to make sure that we always have to see that. But on the other hand, we're looking at, we're always going to be increasing our ability to deny those ads.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, we might be in the golden age of ad blocking right now, where you can actually not have to see an advertisement. But soon, with laws like this or court cases like this, the precedent might be set, and that might go away.
Yeah, I find it really hard to believe that they would. Who am I kidding, right? Yeah, but I find it hard to believe that they would pass a law that would eliminate your ability to remove advertisements. It's your experience. You get to choose.
Yeah, and I mean, the way that I see it, of course, I mean, I'm going to have a little bit of a biased opinion on this because this, building websites is what I do for a living. But I feel that as long as the code is being, rendered on your machine, you have the right to modify that if you want to.
Right, and I'm wondering if that's what it's going to come down to, is if the Brave browser is going to have to offer, or at least at first, show the original rendering, and then do something
and then
with
hide it or something like that.
Do something with it afterwards, or give the option to click a button every time that you want the ads to go away.
Well, there's a happy medium with, I don't know if all the ad blockers are doing it yet, but I know that uBlock Origin allows you to show some advertisements. So it can detect if they're not invasive, and then it lets you show those. And on websites that I care about, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Right.
Make sure they get some ad money.
Yeah, you want to be able to support those sites. And a lot of sites are, they're offering the ability, like Reddit offers you the ability to, purchase gold or otherwise support them in some other way other than ad revenue. I don't know. There are some sites that are so heavy on advertising, and not just advertising, not even I mean, if it were good, well laid out advertising that was not harmful to the user, I don't think that I would have nearly the issue I do with ads.
With the web, it kind of seems to be that the issue is if it's not invasive, then it doesn't get interacted with.
Right, and even invasive to a certain extent is not where I'm upset with things. Is that a lot of times those invasive ads also happen to be harmful. Right, they're either harboring some type of bogus utility or some make your computer faster thing that is just complete crap, and it's not helping you at all. In fact, it's making everything worse. I mean, I can't like IOBit and the IOLO stuff. Right, it's just like they're reputable companies, sure. I mean, they are legitimate companies, but they don't do, in my opinion, what they state that they do with their utilities. So they make your computer slower, and you get this sort of. I mean, we have so many customers that have that stuff on there, and they're like, "Well, I paid for it, so I want it on there." And I'm like, "Well, you shouldn't have paid for it." But still, I paid for it, so I want it on there. Oh, okay, fine. And then they're unhappy when the machine doesn't work as well as it's supposed to.
That's worse than regretting buying it, just being like, I will have it because I paid for it. That's terrible.
Right. I paid for this gangrene. I want it.
Well, I accidentally put diesel in my car, but you know what? I paid for it, so...
You're going to have to just run it on that until it stops running. I don't know. I don't get it with that stuff. It's a little much. But the law that is going to come down from this, right? The court case, the battle that's going to come over this is really the scary part for me. Because the truth is I don't care about the Brave browser one way or the other. It doesn't really bother me one at all. I'm happy to just stick with Chrome and uBlock.
Yeah.
And, I don't really have any interest in the whole cryptocurrency thing, right? I don't need a little bit of Bitcoin out of this. And it's just not my thing.
Yeah, it's not like I go on the web, browsing just to make some money. That's a weird concept.
Yeah, those are the types of things you see bogus ads for in the newspaper, right? Make money online.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing that's crazy. But the law that comes down from this is where I'm really concerned, right? Because as we're going to discuss in a little bit, these laws that you put down and the laws that get built on top of them are really where the danger is. And everybody talks about, well, slippery slopes and this and that. And it's just like, come on. We're in a dangerous time when it comes to...
We're at a moment in the course of technology where the precedents are going to be set that will be discussed for the next several decades in regards to how the internet operates.
So 300 or 400 years ago, you had people that you had a majority of the country that was completely illiterate, and books and papers were luxuries that most people couldn't afford. And laws were created for those specific things, right? For this newfangled technology of books and writing. And those courts cases are still referred to today when it comes to, your right to privacy, the government's right to read your paperwork.
Which is insane if you think about it. I mean, could you imagine writing down a law right now that you would hold people to 300 years from now?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think the big ones have already been covered, right? Don't kill people.
Don't steal.
Right. I think the big one's already covered. I don't know that we necessarily need any more in that particular instance, but yeah, I couldn't imagine writing a rule right now that I would expect would be
at all effectual.
Right. Just perfectly in line with society 300 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, we can't even fathom what it's going to be like. Just like 300 years ago, there's no way they could have imagined what we're like today.
Well, and the difference between now to 300 years, I mean, if we're taking the law of technology involved, is the same thing from now to 3,000 years ago. As far as
it's an exponential acceleration.
Right. So there's a lot. It's a big difference. Right. So if 1000 BC they were writing laws that affect us now, that would be something. It's just amazing. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. And then when we get back from the break, we'll take some of your phone calls at 790-2040, and we will give you more of the Computer Guru Show. We'll be right back.
Computer guru Mike Swanson is here to help you tame that beast of a machine. Join the chat right now at gurushow.com or call in. This is the Computer Guru Show on KVOY, The Voice. Mike Swanson, your computer guru, is just a click away. Listen and watch at gurushow.com. This is the Computer Guru Show on KVOI, The Voice.
Welcome back to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show. Alrighty then. So, in the last segment, we're talking about laws and how, where they potentially could go. And there's this thing, if you are into technology in the future and you kind of, you're looking down the road, what's happening? What do you think's next? Kent, tell me what do you think's going to happen with what do you think the next step is for your cell phone? All right, let's just say that, because you have a cell phone, I imagine, because everybody does, nearly everyone. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's got to go answer a phone now. But how about you, Rob? What do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm a little bit more biased on this subject than most, but I would hope that, the optimistic side of me hopes that we will see safer cell phones that are better at keeping your data secure.
Okay. So beyond that, all right, let's say that we're talking about like the answering machine, where the answering machine evolved into something else, became something else. What do you think the next step is for the phone?
Well, I mean, it's already a personal assistant and a calendar keeper and all of that good stuff. So I can only see it getting more invasive in your life. Okay.
So a lot of people, they rely completely on their phones. I mean, we had a big discussion about, technology or society being dumber as a result.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to retain nearly as much when it comes to things like, conversations that we've had, appointments, location histories. Your phone has a lot of things that you just don't remember.
Yeah,
right?
Potentially details of your life that would otherwise be gone.
Right, they just fall away. They just think, well, whatever, I don't remember where I was. I mean, do you remember what you had for breakfast 4 weeks ago on a Thursday? No, right? Your phone does, though, if you took it with you to wherever you went or
Instagrammed it or whatever.
Right, you did something along those lines. And that's one of the reasons that people get kind of upset about the idea that someone can just break into your phone whenever they want to, because that's why it's a scary thing for people, regardless of whether or not they really have anything to hide, is that your phone has details about you that you don't even know. Lots of them, tons of them. And really what it comes down to is that it's coming soon, right, where people are going to want the ability to do like implants, right, where you're going to get a little chip mounted in your head at some point, and it may be 50 years down the road. But when that happens, everybody's going to have it. It's going to be quasi-mandatory. It's going to be one of these things that if you want to fit in the world, that's what you're going to do.
Well, it's just like having internet now or a phone now, You have almost no choice if you want to function in society.
Right. 20 years ago, nobody had a cell phone. All right. I mean, just a few. It wasn't ubiquitous like it is now. It wasn't like everyone has a cell phone, and now everyone has a cell phone, and it's right. They can see it wherever they are right now, or they can feel it. They know where it is. They know exactly where their phone is at all times. And how many devices in your world does that happen for? I mean, it's not many.
Yeah, I mean, I if given the choice to lose my cell phone or my wallet, that's a tough choice. I might have to go with my cell phone or my wallet, excuse me. So, because at least then I could call the credit card company and have them cancel my my card.
So yeah, you end up with these chips in your head eventually, right? Where it maybe even gets to the point where it becomes a, hi, you have a new baby. It's breathing. Would you like us to implant this chip now? All right, rather than doing the whole circumcision bit, right? It's just like here's your chip, and this is why the laws are scary now, right? Especially when it comes to encryption, and especially when it comes to digital security, because if they write a law now, like they did 300 years ago with paper, that allows anyone to look at anything that belongs to you,
it's in there.
So if they weaken encryption now, then
it's set.
Yeah, it's going to be this thing that a pyramid of bricks is built upon that allows the government in your head directly eventually.
And I mean, that sounds sci-fi still, but it really is not far off.
Nope, it's not. I mean, they're already testing with chips in heads.
I mean, there's already been a guy who just in his garage built a chip that he implanted in his body that texted him when he was getting the flu.
Yep, and they're already putting implants in people's brains to practice with data storage, to work with manipulation as far as, manipulating memories, storing all kinds of information, pulling information out of the brain. The mind-brain interface, the machine-brain interface, it's one of those things that it's going to be a reality.
Yeah, the overwhelming, just crushing force of that is coming, and there's no way to stop it. Whether we like it or not, the people are going to want that at some point.
Let's go ahead and take call on line 3. Hey, Charles, how are you? Hi.
Kind of reminds me of AI, where the robots were impressed that the kid had known actual live humans.
Yeah, well, yeah. At some point, down the way, you're those people who choose to opt out, right, are going to be like, well, I don't want this chip in my head, right?
Right.
They're going to be that tribe in the Amazon. They're going to be
they're going to be the ostracized.
Right. So.
Yeah. It actually reminds me. There is an app for an Amish chip. It makes you hear horse hoof sounds no matter where you go.
Awesome.
But actually, what I wanted to talk about is the interface. It's not just the mobile phone, the ubiquitous. What do you call it? There's another name for cell phone. What do you call it? Personal. I don't know. Anyway,
like a PDA thing.
Yeah, PDA, whatever it is. But anyway, it's more than just that. It's the push towards to funnel people into uniformity through technology. An example is I recently drove across the country to go to Texas, and even in the lower line motels like Motel 6, nobody will rent you a room if you don't have a credit card. I offered a $350 cash deposit. They said, no, we need a credit card. I said, well, I have a debit card. They said, that's fine. We'll take a $250 a hold on it. And I said, no, I'll give you $350, and you don't. I said, I never keep $250 in my account. It's a debit card. It could be wiped out.
Right.
Well, no, that's what we need. But here's $350. No, we need a credit card. And what they're doing is forcing people who don't believe in credit cards into the use of them, whether they like it or not. And that's analogous to what happens with our phones. And by the way, privacy, if a person had a daytimer in the past, a paper daytimer, all of that info was there. It's just that it was less accessible from the outside. That's the difference.
And more accessible in person. So, there's a trade-off there.
Right, exactly.
And that trade-off is really where my focus is, are we trading off for the analog world for the digital? What are we actually trading?
And what is the cost-benefit ratio to it is the question for me. You couldn't lose your password to the daytimer, but somebody could steal your daytimer. Somebody could steal your phone, but if you're smart and it's backed up, it wouldn't matter that much.
Right, and the way that people back up their phones is through cloud, and it's not a cut and dry thing.
No, it's not. By the way, I want to lovingly disagree with you. 300 or 400 years ago, there was a very high in this country. There was a very high literacy rate because people took the time to teach their own children how to read, and usually by reading the Bible. So they not only had a good literal base, they also had a good moral base.
All right, I'll take that criticism.
Okay. God bless and have a wonderful day.
Thanks for the call, Charles. Let's move on to Kevin. Hello, Kevin. How are you?
Hey, good, thanks, Mike. Good morning to you, Rob. Good to have you guys together there again. 2 questions. Mike, I've got patient pictures in Outlook that I've received from other offices. I'm trying to move them off of one computer and onto another. So they're in a file in Outlook. How do you get that from Outlook? How can you back them up onto a zip drive? Zip drive. I'm sorry, a USB drive.
What are you trying to do?
Okay, I got Outlook.
Okay.
I got files on there that I store in a folder, and the folder says patient pictures on it.
All right, so these are emails that you're storing in Outlook?
Yes, they came in as emails because our offices send you electronic stuff. So they're in a folder, and I'm trying to move that whole folder to another computer. Can you do that in Outlook?
Yeah, just export the whole thing.
I tried export. So you just go through the export process, just that one folder.
Export as a PST.
As a PST, okay. And then I'll make this other one worthwhile. Note 5, Samsung, the phone. Okay, I went to my favorite guys over at Verizon. I don't want to buy the phone from them. They want to sell it outright, $799. 2 war stories. Every time I go over there, they change something on my account, even though I never bought anything from them.
Right. Well, they've done that to me, too, so.
So they're happy to me. So I wanted to buy it online. Would you buy a phone online?
Sure, why
Yeah,
not?
absolutely.
You would. Okay, you guys allowed, like there's guys that, it says it's open, you just buy it? And
You need to make sure that it's compatible with your network.
Okay,
'Cause there's usually a few different versions.
It says it's unlocked.
Well, that still doesn't mean it's the right frequency.
Aha! So you have to make sure that it's when you buy it, you have to just make sure it'll go on the Verizon network.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, great show, guys. Thanks so much.
All right.
Have a great one.
Appreciate
Cheers.
the call.
Bye. Thanks,
And
buddy.
we'll move on to Les. Hello, Les. How are you? Apparently, Les is like sawing stuff.
Can we get a little
He's
less of
vacuuming.
that?
Yeah, less of that, Les. He's not even listening. Put him back on hold. We can check on him during the break.
Maybe it was a flyboard. I don't know.
He could have been working with a flyboard.
He was like, they're not answering fast enough. I'm just going to build some furniture while I wait.
Yeah, Amish.
I guess so.
Except for he's got a cell phone
That was awesome.
and a skill saw. It's got to be a saw. Do you think it's a saw or vacuum? All right, is Les back online? All right, let's talk to Les. Hello, Les. How are you?
Oh, sorry about that. It was a little vacuum.
Okay.
I apologize for that.
What can I do for you, Les?
So I had called last week. Thanks again for the call. I had a problem with Chrome playing like plugins. The Pandora radio thing would say
Right, you
your
had
flash
ads and
player was
stuff.
out of date.
Right.
Right. And the what was the other one? Redbox. The little previews. It would say you don't have the right plugin installed, so it wouldn't play anything. And you suggested the Silverlight.
Right.
Going through that. Well, that didn't help, but I thought I would at least share with you what I did find out kind of by accident was basically I have to run Chrome as an administrator, and then it lets things happen fine.
You have a
Not really
larger issue on your machine then.
Could be.
So there's a little utility. I mean, if you want to do this on your own, then there's a little utility that I suggest you download. That's called the Windows All-in-One Repair Tool. And you can get it from tweaking.com, tweaking.com. And it has a function in there that goes through and resets the permissions on your machine to where they're supposed to be. Sounds like you need that.
I do. It's had some. So it's tweaking.com, and it's called the Windows
All-in-One Repair Tool. And it's a great little tool that goes through and resets all your permissions back to default. Because you generally, if you get some type of an infection, the permissions will get all wrecked on the computer, and then you have to do things like run Chrome as an administrator
Which
to
you
get
should
things
never
to work.
have to do.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. You never run a browser as an administrator, so your permissions are all jacked up.
Yeah, they've probably had some issues where I've had some permissions. I haven't had any infections or anything.
Yes, you have.
I probably. Oh, you think I have?
You wouldn't have this permission issue otherwise. So
Okay.
the machine has been infected somehow. And now whether or not the antivirus caught it and it didn't make it to like a full-blown you see it in your face type infection, something on the back end got changed. So run this tool, and you do run this as an administrator, by the way, and it will go through and reset all your permissions. It'll put everything back to normal, reboot the machine afterwards. Things will be great.
Sure.
No more browser as an administrator.
Yeah, no more browsering as...
Would that relate to why on Outlook? What I found recently is on Outlook if Chrome's already open and I click on a link within Outlook, or actually the Firefox one, it wants to relaunch Chrome. If I have the Chrome closed first, and then I open say Outlook, and then I open Chrome, then it's okay. It's kind of weird.
Okay, so you got a couple of things
Could
that
be
you need to
related.
do. So first thing you're going to do is run the all-in-one repair tool. That needs to be done first before you do anything else.
Okay.
And disable your antivirus while that's running. And then after you reboot, then what version of Office do you have?
That one, I believe, is 2010.
All right, so then go into
Yeah, it is 2010.
Go into Add Remove Programs, find Office 2010, click the Change button, and run a repair. And at least the problems that you've described should be gone.
Okay. All right, I will practice. I usually make a clone of my drive and practice on my clone before I try anything, just to make sure nothing really weird happens. But
not a bad idea.
Yeah,
how are you running
Pardon?
these clones?
So I use a Cronus, which I swear by, and on this one I would restore an image of it, and then I just run it off of another solid-state drive. So I just disconnect my one drive from the system.
Is the original drive a solid-state also?
Pardon?
Is the original drive a solid-state also?
Yeah, on this case, the original drive is one of those M.2.
As long as they're both solid state, I'm happy. But if you're cloning from solid state to conventional or vice versa, then
no, I don't use the conventional drives for operating systems.
That's what we're talking about here, is an operating system.
No, I wouldn't use a non-solid state drive.
Oh, okay. All right, just making sure. All right, so run the all-in-one repair tool, run the office repair. Everything should be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate the call.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead. Quick break, and then we'll come back for the other calls. So if you're on hold, stick around. We'll be right back with more of the Computer Guru Show. Give us a call, 790-2040.
Computer troubles? Need some advice? Call in now. Mike Swanson will be back after these messages. The Computer Guru Show, AM 1030, KVOY, The Voice. Your technology guru, Mike Swanson, is answering all your questions one by one.
Yes, science!
So chime in with yours. The website is gurushow.com. Tune in, click in, and kick back. This is the Computer Guru Show.
Welcome back to the Computer Guru Show. My name is Mike, here to deal with your technology needs and treat you like a person in the process. 790-2040 if you want to be part of the show. Let's go ahead and bring on Bruce. Hello, Bruce. How are you?
Oh, good. Yourself?
Not bad. What can I do for you?
I have a question here. Have you guys seen the app geek.com?
I remember seeing that a while back. A couple of years ago, I think.
I hadn't saw it, and someone told me about it, and I downloaded the app, and it seemed amazingly inexpensive for the electronics and that. Just a lot of different things for sale. But I was hoping that you guys may have actually used it instead of just something you read about for like personal experience.
I'm checking them out. Their logo looks really familiar. They kind of remind me of the Tech Junkie guys. I don't know. I'm looking at their website now. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about them. I can do some research and let you know next week.
Okay, I listen to you on a regular basis and really enjoy your show.
All right. Well, we'll do that. Thank you for listening, by the way. We appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you for your service.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
All right, thanks, Paul.
All right, let's talk to Mark. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Hey, thanks for the U block there. It does help.
Yes, it does.
Some of the places won't load unless you give it permission. That really pissed me off. But,
yeah, well, that's
yeah.
There's actually an extension now that detects websites that do that and blocks their ability to detect your ad blocker.
Oh, good. I may work on that. Okay, but anyway, my quick question here is, the quick question here is, you got any favorite tools for the DBX file database repair to get Outlook Express exported into something else? We took the files, but evidently I guess there's some corruption in there. I mean, we can see everything. There's a DBX file here and another one there, whatever, but when you try and import it, it only finds a couple of them. You know?
So do you want the bad news or the worst news?
Yeah, I know. I figured this bad and worse. The only reason I'm even going this far is it's the wife.
Okay. There are a couple of DBX repair tools or MBX repair tools that are out there. None of them are all that great. And actually, that was the big problem with Express to begin with, is the way that it stored mail was kind of dangerous. Now, the best way to deal with this is which box is failing, by the way?
Oh, it's the XP version has a corrupted file now, so I can't. We got what we could from it, and luckily I had exported it once before back in 2013, And so we used that and brought all those up, but we're still between 2013 and now.
Is it the inbox that is broken, or is
no,
it another folder?
inbox is pretty good. It's just a bunch of her file folders with stuff she had stored.
Okay, so the best way to deal with this is at least to kind of fumble your way through. And by the way, there's no real easy way to do this.
Okay.
Is that you are going to start breaking it up into little pieces. So you're going to basically take everything out of that import folder that you're using and then put it in little bit by little bit. And then rerunning the imports to get all that stuff in there. And then once you find something that's corrupted, then you say, well, I'm not importing that. And you take that out and start importing the rest.
Yeah, okay.
So you may lose a folder or two. But it's considerably... In fact, you can even go a step further. As inside those folders, there's individual files.
Right.
And you can start doing little bit by little bit with the individual files if you want to lessen the number of lost items.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good attack process. So.
Yeah, it'll give you a project.
Yeah, right. Just would need another project.
Just give you something to do for a while.
Anyway, right. I'm concerned, like you are, about this legal stuff about advertising and whatever. It has dominated the loading and uploading and running and time and wasted time.
Well, I don't know if
everything.
I don't know if anybody really caught what the actual point of what we're upset about is that although it may start with this advertising thing and a precedent that's being set there, but the laws about encryption are the same thing. And when we get those chips in our head, do we want the government to be able to decrypt our heads at will?
No, I want better encryption than what we have now.
Yeah. So, but it's going to be an interesting argument to see over the next
few years. And
I
personally believe that all of this grab his cell phone, if we suspect anything, is just nothing but phishing expeditions.
Oh, and by the way, did anybody notice or anybody see the article that there was no data found on the phone?
Nothing valuable.
No, I haven't seen that yet, but I figured that was going to be the answer.
Yep, nothing good on that phone, nothing to help them out. So there was a bunch of arguing for nothing.
Total waste of time.
Yeah, total waste of time.
Appreciate the call, Mark. Thank you very much.
Bye.
All right, so we got 2 minutes here. Let's go ahead and start closing out the show. We're going to continue to do our $100 virus removals, but now we're going to do them at both locations instead of just Harrison. We'll do them at Fort Lowell as well. So if you need a cleanup, a tune-up, anything on the machine, it's $50 off for $100. And hopefully that'll help you guys out. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors, our Patreon sponsor of the week. Basically, the only one that pays us enough to get mentioned would be Desert Pro Commercial Cleaning LLC, the best Tucson janitorial services. And I can tell you right now, they do a great job over at Harrison. Go ahead and give them a visit at TucsonDesertPro.com. And they are great people, and we appreciate them helping us out. You can give them a call at 313-2776. Also, Perfection Auto Works, thank you very much once again. If you want to support us on Patreon, by the way, you can go to patreon.com/Guru Show, or there's a link on the website, right? On the Guru Show site.
And while you're there, you should also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel because that's coming up next as far as the next evolution of what's happening here. Between your help with Patreon stuff and a little extra push from Rob's part, we're going to go ahead and get the YouTube show started at some point here pretty soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
And everything will be grand. Thank you very much for listening to the Computer Guru Show this week, and we very much appreciate you because, well, without you, we wouldn't be here. So visit us at 510 East Fort Lowell or 64 North Harrison, where you can get any of your technology issues taken care of while being treated like a person in the process. I guess we'll catch you next week.
See you guys.
See ya.